Well, good morning, everyone. I'm here with Stephen McKay again. About probably 15 months ago, Stephen and Nigel and I put together a video of the community service that the boys had done around Reefton over the years. So Nigel died about 11 months ago, and we're coming up for the 1 year sort of memorial service. That's what you're going to put together. And I thought that we would be able to put that video together to present to the family as a memorial to your brother, really, wouldn't it? Well, good morning, everyone. Today, Nigel and Stephen have come with me out to the golf course. What we're going to do over the next 20 minutes or so is just talk about some of the projects that they've been involved in the maintenance and repairs, things that have got dilapidated. And these fellas here have put it all right. An example of some of the work that you've done here, putting in drains around the golf course.
And this one, I think, put power over to that pole for a pump to pump water around.
Yes, for irrigation to keep
irrigation on the greens.
Yes. And did you have machinery to dig the hole?
No, just done by hand.
Did you?
A mad Mick and a shovel. Which is
looking down towards the Anangahua River, but you cleaned up some big tree lines in the block here, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a line of poplars down over there, and they wanted them out of the way, so we felled them and tipped them over and cut them all into firewood. Split it, and they gave us the fire.
You fellas have been in the forestry industry all your life, really. They utilise your skills with chainsaws and everything to do that sort of work, you know?
Yeah, well, Brian Hampton, he was a good bushman too, but he got us to fall the timber, and we were allowed it for firewood, so it was big trees.
Yes.
Big fencing for stop the sheep getting out in the river. We fenced quite a bit of that. Oh, another fence way down there. Down that end. We opened that up and re-fenced that. Yeah, and the blackberries and redone that. Oh, we cut water pipes across. Yeah, right away down. Through and over to down there for the sheep.
Yes. So you two don't play golf at all, do you?
No, but we borrowed a set of clubs, and I belted a ball, and it went out of bounds. It went over what they call out of bounds.
A good shot.
Well, no, it was the best ball shot. It was a slicer, and it landed there, and I thought, oh, well, more interested in looking for balls and playing. So I went over there, and I thought, oh, shit, there's a neck of a green bottle sticking out. I wiggled it, and there's another one. And they're both early Chinese ones.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You still got them?
No, they're in the Blacks Point Museum.
Oh, yes, so you'd have found a lot of stuff like that in your janitorial works.
We were in the heritage outfit, and the station came up for sale, but it was given to the Maoris first, and then they wanted to on-sell it, and they wanted 20,000 for it, but our heritage outfit could only come up with 14. So Steph and I paid the extra 6 so that they could buy it, and it was all overgrown. You could not see the railway building from the main road for 14-foot high broom.
Is that right?
So we got in with our slasher, Steph and me, and we cut her all flat, and then they got Katie Moore with a Fordson tractor with a rotary slasher. He went backing in over what we'd done and levelled off nice and smooth, chewed off.
Building over here now, how'd you get on sorting that one out?
Well, for a start, we got a water blaster, borrowed it off Hunt at the mill out there, and Steph and I water blasted the roof, or the whole roof of the whole thing. And then we painted where that brown is on the main piece of the station, and then had to get the PEB boys came in to give us a hand. They were going to do under the veranda and round the back, but they did that much damage we had to kick them off.
Yeah.
They spilt the paint, walked in it and left their marks up and down the veranda, then bored holes in it with a water blaster.
Just to entertain themselves.
Yeah, just making a bloody mess.
Yeah. Were they supervised or?
They did, but supervisors stand and watch.
Yeah.
So we kicked them all off. They said, you can't do it, it's never been done. I said, well, it is now.
Yeah.
So we booted them off, but then we give them a hand on a digger, cleaning up broom and stuff. They got a loan of a digger off.
The old loco shed down here, you done some work on that too?
You see them barge boards just below the roof all
Yes.
the way around. We had to paint them, but we had a ladder, but it was that flimsy, and it was that, as we climbed up to do it from the outside, the ladder had a bow in it and it was swaying.
Yes.
So in the end, we climbed up on the roof, and I had a rope around my stomach tied to one of them chimney vents, and I hung out over and painted it below me.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And we also cleaned it all up, got rid of a lot of rubbish and that around it.
So you've done a lot of work to bring this back up to its standard,
See
isn't it?
those posts?
Yes.
We dug a lot of them in with milky wood.
Yes.
For the fencing. Dug out rocks out of that place over there. So the lawnmower.
A lot of work around the railway station here, but let's go out to the cemetery. You've done quite a bit out there too, eh?
Yeah.
Out to the Reefton cemetery here at Burke's Creek, and the boys are here now just to go over the findings here and the upgrade of these graves at the Chinese section. So boys, this was quite dilapidated, wasn't it?
Yeah, and well overgrown when we looked at it, and we decided we'd give it a tidy up. And a lot of these stones are very poor quality sandstone, and the characters that are etched in them are nearly worn out.
Yes, you can't read them.
You can't read on them now. But
were there records anywhere that you could verify?
oh, we've got all the records.
Yes.
Yeah. All these. There's no bodies under these ones because they dug them up and put them into zinc-lined coffins and sent their bones and that over to China.
Right.
But the boat sunk off the top of New Zealand. A boat called the Ventnor. SS Ventnor.
Yes.
And it sunk, and they lost all the bloody bodies, and the Maoris picked up the sailors and they buried them on a hill somewhere up in the North Island.
Oh, wow.
Why this is so good, this grave, is because Kong Yu Chu, the fellow under here, gave one of the Allens £67 to build him a decent headstone and grave, and that's why it's so good. But now Jimmy came out here one day and you couldn't read any of these writings and the characters, and we were doing it up, and it come on to crib time and it started to blow like a bastard. So we went home for crib, and when we come back, that dome had shifted a couple of feet, and there was it looked like a Chinese coin of some sort, but it wasn't. And so we made a pet of it, and it followed us home, and we took it to a Chinese lady, and she said, 500 year, Ling dynasty, good luck charm, you give to me. And we said, no, you're not having it. And we still got today. And she said they wore it, the males, on a string outside their big wide pants, and it was handed down from father to son to son to son over the centuries. So that's how we got it now. And we always thought, well, seeing we're cleaned up, that must be payment for doing it.
All this together.
So he was buried in 1945, Kong Yu Chu, and his nickname was Blinky.
Oh, yes.
And you'll see a picture of him in Daryl Latham's book.
Yes.
He's at the old convent, and he used to wander around and look and peer through the windows and at them inside when they're getting taught in the old school and that.
Done quite a bit along here too, smartening this up.
We smartened that one up. That is Lindsay Barra's people there, the
Oh, yes.
Absalons.
Yes.
Yep. Well, quite a few people along here.
These older graves here, they were a bit dilapidated at one stage, weren't they? You cleaned off the weeds and the like?
We sprayed for lichen, and that one back there, Lindsay Barra's people, the Absalons, we done that. We done one for that big white one up there.
Yes.
On the end. We done one just in here. Well, we don't know who they are, a lot of them. And then we put in a... Yeah, and we did a whole floor of one just over there. See, it looks like new base down over there.
Yes.
We done that one too, put a whole concrete floor on it. Over here, if you want to walk over to here.
So this is a historic gravesite?
This one, yeah, little Biddy of the Buller, Bridget Goodwin. She spent 23 years working the Buller River for gold with two mates. And then one mate died, or got crook and came in and died, and then she still stayed out there. Then the other one got a bit lazy, and she ended up having to work twice as hard to get grub for both of them and booze. She shifted into Reefton in about 1885 or somewhere, and died in 1899. No, 1890 she'd have been in Reefton. Died in 1899, and she was penniless, and when she was here there was no such thing as a pension till the last years of her life. So the Anglican churchwoman used to look after her up until she got that bit of pension at the end, and keep her in booze and keep her in baccy and a bit of tucker. She died and was buried out here in 1899, and she was buried in a pauper's grave, so never had any headstone. So we decided, we read all about her, and that, well, great old character, we reckon she deserves a headstone. So we made that out of concrete, and then I freehanded the photo of her there, and she looks short because she is short, or was short. She was 4 foot tall. She was 4 foot tall, and she used to work up to her hips in water every day for 23 years, yeah.
And she's originally from Ireland?
She's from Ireland, they think from Dublin.
I'm not sure when she's born.
No.
1813 or something.
Yes.
Yeah, roughly that. Yeah. So where her two mates are buried, they'll be in grave somewhere here, but I'm not sure.
So this is your brother that died a few years ago now, isn't he? When he was only, 24 years of age? Yeah.
1970, May 1972.
Yeah. And you keep maintaining his grave?
Yeah, we painted it quite a few times.
Yeah. And your parents are nearby?
The street opposite.
Phoebe and Ray. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 numbers. That's right, 173 on his kidney basher bag.
So what theatres of war did your dad go to?
He was over in North Africa. He was over in Italy. He was over in Palestine.
Yes.
He was all around that area. He was in the tanks. He was trained as a commando originally in Australia, and then the mission was aborted. So he went over into the tanks, and then there was a tank driver, and he got burned out of his tank at one stage, and he got bombed in a bunker in Italy and got his head smashed in.
Sure.
So he got injured quite a bit.
Fond memories of your dad, eh?
Yeah.
Come down to the site here where the Scouts and the Cubs were. There was an older building across here, but you've done some work on this section as well.
We cut a lot of broom,
Built a big bonfire.
and built a big bonfire somewhere in the middle there. And there was 2 big trees. Might be a stump there.
Oh, yeah.
No, 2 big trees, probably a stump there. And there was a little park bench seat there, slatted.
Not here.
Guy walks night and we'd light the bonfire up with all the scrub we cut off the section. And there was 2 old ladies, one from across the road here, Mrs. Shepherd,
2 old shepherds.
and they were sitting on the seat, and they took their big hats off beside them, and we sneaked up behind them with a skyrocket in a bottle and lit it, and it shoved their hats right at the top of these trees, and they never ever come down. And we got whipped.
Did you?
Old Taddy Henshaw,
Yeah.
Eric Henshaw, he was the scoutmaster, and we must have been a bit cheeky, so we pushed over, there was a water barrel behind the hut, and we shoved that over, and he whipped us with electrical wiring.
Did he?
Yeah, old Tad, yeah.
Bastard.
Oh well.
That's the way it is in those
Well,
days.
it went in them days, with the arse kicked.
This is the Pioneer Cemetery we're standing in at the moment. Did you boys do any work in here?
No.
This is sort of one that the whole town is tidied up here. This was the whole cemetery here, the whole thing, but maintenance was a problem, and now they got the memorial stone across here at the entrance. Pioneer Cemetery. These are all the plot names and numbers and who in there with dates and things. But the boys have got another story here. What's the significance of this spot you're standing on?
This is where the bard of Anangahua was buried in 1943. That was Hugh Smith. He wrote 2 books of poetry, and he is not listed on that stone out there, but he's buried here, and part of his memorial off the stone, when they cleaned her up, went out to an Angahua junction where his hut was beside the railway line, and it is on that memorial stone, which is in grave danger of collapsing, and it was put there with funds from the Dunedin Caledonian Society. But we know he's buried here because his granddaughter was here with us this year, and she said, coming in the gate, she said he's buried right by that bloody tree now, where that tree is now, and she remembers picking daffodils around his grave. So he's not out there, he's buried here. For some reason.
We've moved our location down to the racecourse in Reefton here. You boys done a fair bit of the work here, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
The mowing of the track for 3 years.
Watering of the track.
Watering of the track.
Bowling of the track.
Roscoe Moore's tanker trailer doing every night when it was too dry. We sprayed, weed eated around every building, every fence, right around. We give them a hand to replace all the buggered bits on the inside rail over there.
When they put sand on that sand track, that training track, I graded all out with a grader.
We put the water lines from across by the shed houses over there under the track and right through and away to hell over there for water troughs. We actually fenced with Vincie O'Regan some of the
Subdivided all that
into paddocks. What else we do?
We painted that bloody tea rooms inside and the roof and the totalizer, and we broke the old urinals in the piss house and give them a hand, the plumbers, to put new ones in. We wrecked all this bloody commentator's box and give them a hand there. Carried it all the way in their truck. We felled trees out here, that tree there. Did the yards, put all the water lines through.
We had the 2 mowers going. We had a little ride-on mower, and we had the old Fordson tractor with a rotary slasher, and then we had an International. So, no, we've done a lot of work here.
I'll say. And you painted the rails all the way around?
Yeah, we painted the rails nearly all the way around. Helped put the water lines on to those new stables, the new complex blocks, and the old one as well.
And the tie-ups, we put the new chains to hold the horses in. We painted all the numbers on every one, on every stable.
We felled timber at the back of the old brewery, bloody old poplars.
That's right, geez, they're big dangerous bastards.
And they used dynamite on this macrocarpa down here, did they?
On the stump of one of the earlier macrocarpas.
That was a story we heard off the old people.
Yes.
They went to blow a big stump out that was there, and they charged her up, and one of them looked round behind, here's an old pisshead, he's asleep.
He would.
In the flanges of it,
He would have got a bloody fright, wouldn't he?
Well, not for long.
Well, this is Church Street here, and in 74 there was a bit of an activity here. What happened in 1974?
The Nangahua River flooded, and it broke through just above the camping ground, and it raced down here, and this is quite low here. It goes back into the terraces, so it was coming through here quite bad, through that old house, and the old ladies had no way of getting out, and we had a brand new 72 Toyota four-wheel drive, so we drove along that lane, and we managed to back into the veranda and pick the old tart up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mrs. Beard, Emily Beard.
Yes.
Eva.
Mrs. Eva Beard, yeah.
And so you took her to safety, to a community hall.
Where we took her. Took them somewhere out of the way.
So just to our left here, the road rises. So this was the course of the water through here, really?
Yeah, she was raging through here and headed out through the college grounds and then right down through our old place in Plaskett Street and right up Connon Street and out through the channel and under a culvert under the railway line headed through the Arboretum.
Big flood. We haven't had one like that for a long time.
No, we haven't had one.
And the river protection's gone in since, I suppose.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
stop me.
Big flood wall. Yeah.
Now you've done some work up the courthouse too. Let's go and have a look at that. Here we are on the corner of Bridge and Church Street, but the main building here is the courthouse. You boys done some work on that as well, didn't you?
Well, part of the heritage work, we're in the Heritage Society, and all voluntary work, and we wrecked the old chimney inside. We've scraped the roofs down for painting, and we got bricks to rebuild a new chimney from Banks's farm out Gannon's Road, and we had to wreck an old piggery and then get the bricks and bring them in, and we stacked them in on the floor, but then the floor sunk that bad we had to cut the floor out and put a sheet of tin and push them all down underneath the building.
We're in under the courthouse now. You've repiled around under here. Look at this new stuff.
No, it was repiled, jacked up and repiled by some foreign outfit, but all those bricks were the ones that we got from Banks's farm where we wrecked an old piggery, and they were going to be used to put the chimney and fireplace back in up in the main room there, and we had them stacked up in a room above us, and the weight was too great, so we had to cut a hole out and used a sheet of tin, and we dropped them down in here, then restacked them underneath.
There they stayed.
And there they stayed.
So you had a story about this courthouse here, didn't you?
Yes, there was a young girl trying to take two young fellas to court for maintenance for her son. And the judge said, surely you know which out of these two jokers is the father of your son. And she said, look here, Judge. She said, if you ate a tin of baked beans, you would know which one made you fart. And then another one, and he's still alive too, old B.D. Dobson. And he was here, and they said, did a fella king hit you? You know, giving him a whop round the earlobes. And he said, what fella king?
Did that fella king hit you?
Yeah.
Oddfellows Hall there, you done a little bit of work on that one as well?
Yeah, as part of the heritage outfit, we helped sand down and paint that wall you're looking at.
Yes.
Yeah, and cleaned her up inside.
It looks to be tin made of tin now, is it? Was it?
No, it should be. No, it's all weatherboard.
Is it?
Yeah.
So,
And what else we do? Oh, we broke through the floor. We were training for wood chopping there and lifting weights.
yes.
And the floor was rotten and now went straight down.
Oh, look.
Yeah, up to about here.
Yeah.
But it's been patched up.
Yes. So it's just another historic building around, isn't it? Heritage building.
Yeah, they were originally saved by Paul Thomas.
Mm.
Yeah, and he started the
Ball rolling, really.
vitalisation of the old heritage buildings. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the next project.
The earliest one in
House in Reefton.
Is it? This one here?
Yeah, 1873. And it was built for Woolley the surveyor. And in our day it was Joker Sharpie and his missus, and they had a couple of Highland Terrier little dogs.
Yes. And these are council flats here, and you had a bit of a hand to get some older people in.
Yeah, well, Viv Collins, he come from out the Rough Creek Mill. He used to work with our brother in the Rough Creek Mill for Darcy Seymour, and so we got to know old Phil through Viv Collins through our brother, and so we befriended him and we helped him shift in over here.
Put gardens in for him.
Gardens in, and we cut a lot of firewood for him and Charlie Rowan and Eddie Story, and then we shifted old Viv down to the pensioner flats down by the hospital, but he was dying. He died there. Yeah.
But I mean, they do need younger people to help out and do the humping and heaving, because they can't throw a fridge or a lounge suite round, can they?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And a story John Little was telling us the other day. That old Viv Collins, the one we shifted in and out and were friends with over there, and we're talking to Johnny Little from Adelaide the other day, and him and Chookie Johnson, one of your neighbours, worked at the Rough Creek Mill, and Viv was always on the piss at night, and he'd come during the day, and he'd always have to go to the toilet, which took out a quarter of an hour or more, which meant that someone else had to do his job in the mill. Okay. And the toilet was situated over a water race going sideways through the toilet. And Viv quite a hefty fellow, the big guts. He used to drop his drawers and back into the toilet. Well, Chris and John had access to gelignite because they were blowing stumps, so they decided if they got a cord of a plug, they would liven up his toilet activity. So they waited and they give each other the signals, and he drops his drawers and he backs in. They give him time to get a little bit of the bloody business done, and then they press the wires coming off the bloody battery, you know, to the battery going to the dead inside the jelly, and there was a bump, and the shithouse went up 2 feet and down, and out came tumbling old Viv, and he's covered in his own excrement, and the mill owner, boss, whatever he was, Darcy Seymour, had to go over what the hell's going on. And here's Viv with his own shit plastered up his back, half naked, and old bloody Darcy had to get him by the front of his jersey and lead him over to the rough creek and splash him with water because he had to go home and they couldn't put him in the van full of his own. I mean, she's a crack of a story.
Yeah. So we came down to the Reefton roller park, I think they call this one, don't they?
Yeah.
And you've done a fair bit of work in here.
We started off from the very start building those block walls with Gavin Nalder. He was the block layer, and he was teaching us how to do those walls. We ended up getting trailer loads of concrete, sand and gravel from out the Big Grey River past Ikamatua and bringing it back in and on the very first start of all this.
It's an extensive park, and I think people come from all around the world because it's so well put together with so much variety, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
They're all similar based off it. A joker in Nelson Creek designed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the money for this whole thing came from?
It was mainly voluntary.
Is it?
Yeah, people might have sponsored cement and stuff. Yeah.
It's not deteriorating, is it? This is
No.
20 years old now?
Yeah. Used to be a lot of kids put their rubbish in there, and someone would come round every morning, an elderly fella, and pick the rubbish out.
Yeah.
It looks all right.
They used to smoke dope in those hollows. The cops would go past at night, but they never stopped. And they just put a light across the top and kids down in there smoking dope.
Graffiti or something on them ones.
So boys, there's thousands of projects that you've been in over the years, but this is another one here, bowling club.
Yep.
The takes a lot of volunteer work to keep this up.
A lot of volunteer work.
A lot of volunteer work for a bowling club. Takes.
All these fences here, we renewed them, painted the seats.
So I hope you got some fond memories out of the video that the twins and I put together there of their community service. But Stefan here now has got a list of further stuff that you've been working on, hadn't you? All the other places there that we didn't get to finish off in there. But
yeah. I just wrote them down. Do you want me to read them out?
Well, up on the hill here, looking over Reefton, there's a big crisscross up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, which church put that up there?
Combination of a lot of them.
Did it? Yeah. So what sort of work did you do around putting that together?
For a start, it was burnt and it was dangerous, and they wanted Nigel and me to do something. We said, no, we're not going to. We want pulling down and rebuilding. Bougen actually took it on himself, and he got it redone up. Yeah. And we put the bench track into it and built the seat that's there.
Right. So a fire went through and set the cross on fire.
Yes, it did.
And then
ruined it.
Yeah. And how big's the timber on that?
Oh, it's not as big now as what it was.
8 by 8 or something?
8. Yeah, it would have been 8 by something. Yeah.
Now, you've done a lot of work around the old powerhouse there before this project got underway. What sort of things did you do there?
The foundations were grown up with broom and gorse and every other bit of junk, and we used to clean that. We'd done that about 3 different years, and then we opened up the water race right through to nearly Bollinger's bridge, swing bridge, and we did the survey points every chain up and down the hill.
So to work out where the trench was and everything.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they're working off it, but we done that. Yeah.
And then Watts Track, that's another big one that you worked on.
Yeah, we give Johnny Watts a hand to open that up, and
falling trees and benched his track because he wanted to go down towards Black's Point, and we said, you can't, John, it's bluffs.
Yes.
And so we told him we have to go up, and we joined onto the machine track.
Yes. So that's one bringing water into or servicing the water race into the reservoir, I am.
Yeah, the bottom one was, yeah. And then the top one was the tram line taking timber back towards Murray's Creek.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Was there a mill up there at that where the...
No, just an old tram line.
Yes, yeah. Now the Predator line there, what's that one at Rainy Creek?
Yeah, we did that for years. We cut the track, opened it up and sprayed it and all that sort of stuff, so it made ease of walking. And we serviced the trap lines for many years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now there's one there that you got called the Painkiller Track. Where the heck was that?
Yeah, that starts off at Waitāhu and goes up to Murray's Creek, and we opened that up and made signs for it. They'll at the Gladstone mine and the Dillon and the Ulster mines. Yeah,
so they were all coal mines, were they?
No, gold quartz.
Yeah. So that's on the southern bank of the Waitāhu, was it?
The southern bank.
Yeah. And then the coal mines, you found a few others there?
Yes, we opened them up, Burnwell, the Central and the Terrace, and we painted signs for them, and opened right up. Actually, we got paid when we did the level track and up to the seat at the top heading towards the translator.
Yes.
Yeah, the Kanini track.
And now you've got an award here that you two fellas got. Look at that there. So that's in recognition in 1924 of your community service, really, isn't it?
We've done a lot for Reefton.
Yes.
But, you don't mind doing it, do you?
No, well, you're Reeftonians and you've been here and give them back in a big way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for putting that video together. Well done.
Yeah.
I didn't give you the award, but I'm giving you congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks, Alvin.